the headquarters of the International Herald Tribune near Paris, a dozen journalists are putting the finishing touches to today's edition. In 125 years of existence, the American daily newspaper has covered all manner of historic events, like the sinking of the Titanic.
We really were the first publication that sort of took upon itself to interpret developments in the world for the global elite.
The International Herald Tribune appeared on newsstands on 4th of October 1887, a year ahead of the Financial Times. Its mission was to have a more global view of the news than its British counterpart and keep rich American expats in Paris informed on the news back home. For a long time it was an amalgamation of content from many different American newspapers, reworked for an international readership. But since 2003, its sole proprietor has been the New York Times. Journalist Axel Krauss joined in 1978 and stayed for 20 years.
I was in Washington with Business Week magazine and said, "How would you like to come to Paris?" I said, "What's wrong with Paul Lewis," who then was the New York Times economics correspondent. He said, and this is what sold me on the idea, he said, "Nothing is wrong with Paul Lewis except that he's writing for a New York audience. And I'm looking for an economics correspondent who can write for our audience, which is international."
Today, the International Herald Tribune is sold in 160 countries. Asia accounts for 40% of the 225,000 issues sold each day, and only 1 in 10 is sold in its home base of France. The New York Times Group doesn't release figures specifically for the International Herald Tribune, only saying it is still viable. Despite troubling times for the newspaper industry, media experts say a combination of top-end advertisers and fierce competitiveness with the Financial Times will keep it on our stands for a while yet.